We now leave the red-tiled roofs of Sighnaghi and the green horizons of the eastern valleys behind. Our cinematic journey turns deeper into the rugged terrain, moving toward the silent borderlands and hidden underworlds where the historic spirit of Georgia has survived for centuries. If the first chapter of our voyage was a celebration of cloud-shrouded peaks and defensive valley stone, this chapter is a solemn entry into absolute stillness. It is a pilgrimage into striped desert landscapes, golden fortresses, and subterranean limestone cathedrals that have witnessed the heavy footsteps of Silk Road traders.
Here, the modern world fades entirely into the background. In this episode, we will immerse ourselves in the quiet endurance of remote sanctuaries carved directly into the living rock. Welcome back to the timeless wonders of Georgia. Our exploration leads us directly into the semi-desert borderlands, where we discover the massive cave monastery complex of David Gareja. The geology of this remote region is breathtaking, featuring sharp ridges where stripes of red, yellow, and ochre minerals create magnificent rainbow mountains that ripple across the vast horizon.
Founded in the 6th century, the Lavra Monastery remains the quiet heart of this rugged compound, where monks still live in deep isolation today. A steep hike up the sandstone cliffs reveals hundreds of ancient cells and chapels, carved masterfully into the rock face. Inside these hollow chambers, delicate frescoes have miraculously survived for over 1,000 years, despite the harsh desert sun. Standing on this silent ridge, you are positioned precisely on the border with Azerbaijan. The desert wind sweeps over the colorful clay hills, carrying a profound silence that has remained entirely undisturbed since the era of the early monks.
We journey southwest to the city of Akultsike, standing before the monumental stone and gold walls of Rabati Castle. Originally constructed in the 9th century, this strategic fortress served as a grand crossroads along the ancient Silk Road, repeatedly destroyed and rebuilt by Georgians, Ottomans, and Persians alike. The resulting architecture is a beautiful, flawless fusion of global styles. Within the massive defensive perimeter, a gold-domed mosque, an Orthodox church, a traditional synagogue, and a Catholic cathedral stand just meters apart in perfect harmony.
The manicured gardens, defensive stone towers, and elegant royal palace create an open-air museum of historical tolerance. From the highest turret of the keep, you can look out over the ancient trade routes and see the dry, desert-like hills of the nearby Armenian border. It stands today as a defiant monument to the cultural winds that have shaped the Caucasus for a millennium. Our path moves into a deep, forested gorge to enter Borjomi, the tranquil green sanctuary of the country. Long before this nation became a destination for mountain trekking, it was celebrated across the empire for its natural, carbonated volcanic mineral water that bubbles up from springs deep underground.
In the center of this quiet spa town lies the Central Park, a winding garden where the elegant Belle Epoque architecture reminds visitors of the Romanov imperial family who once used this valley as a summer retreat. Here, you can drink warm, sulfurous water directly from the original spring house. A historic cable car carries you up to a high forest plateau, looking down on over 400 square kilometers of protected wilderness. Deep within the pine woods, hidden natural stone basins hold warm thermal water, allowing traveling souls to soak in silence while surrounded by autumn leaves or fresh winter snow.
We travel west into the Imereti region to reach Kutaisi, officially one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the entire world. This historic capital of the legendary kingdom of Colchis is a landscape of weathered white stone and vibrant cultural energy. We begin on a high hill overlooking the Rioni River, standing before the medieval grandeur of Rabati Cathedral. A short drive away lies the UNESCO-protected Gelati Monastery, an ancient academy of science and philosophy whose interior walls are covered in some of the most radiant gold mosaics in the Orthodox world. Below the sacred hills, the emotional heart of the city beats within the Kutaisi Central Market. Here, beneath massive concrete structures, local vendors sell traditional strings of dried persimmons and mounds of aromatic mountain spices. It remains a perfect blend of ancient myths and authentic hospitality. Our journey descends completely beneath the surface of the earth to enter Prometheus Cave, a true subterranean cathedral. Discovered in 1984, this massive limestone cavern features 22 immense halls, with a deep walking path winding through a psychedelic world of ancient stalactites and petrified waterfalls. The complex textures of the stone are illuminated masterfully with soft, colorful lights, while classical music echoes gently through the cool chambers. Local legends whisper that Prometheus was chained to the massive mountain cliffs nearby for stealing fire from the gods. The true magic of this underground pilgrimage occurs at the final exit. Visitors board a small wooden boat, gliding silently along a dark subterranean river for several hundred meters, before suddenly emerging into the bright sunlight and lush green jungle of the canyon. The sharp transition from the cool darkness of the underworld to the vibrant life of the forest is a cinematic moment you will never forget. We journey deep into a jagged, manganese-rich basin to discover Chiatura, a surreal town frozen entirely in the mid-20th century.
Nestled inside a dramatic limestone gorge, this industrial settlement is famous for its historic, rusted network of aerial cable cars, known locally as the Flying Coffins. Constructed in the 1950s to transport miners quickly up the steep cliff faces, these heavy metal cabins once formed the absolute pulse of the city's Soviet-era infrastructure. Today, while modern lifts have been introduced, the decaying concrete stations and skeletal iron towers still cling defiantly to the rocks.
Wandering through the quiet streets, you can feel the heavy atmosphere of a bygone era. The old cable lines stretch across the gray sky like spiderwebs, offering a stark, cinematic contrast to the ancient stone churches we explored earlier. It is a powerful monument to human engineering and raw industrial survival. A short drive from the mining valleys brings us before one of the most isolated holy sites on Earth, the Kotsky Pillar. This monumental limestone monolith rises abruptly over 40 meters out of the lush green forest floor, standing like a solitary giant against the mountain clouds. Atop this impossibly narrow, flat summit sits a tiny 7th century church dedicated to Maximus the Confessor. For decades, a single hermit monk lived in complete isolation on this high stone platform, climbing a fragile iron ladder each day to escape the distractions of the lower world. Today, the summit remains restricted, allowing the sacred sanctuary to retain its profound aura of untouchable peace. Looking up from the base of the pillar, the sheer vertical walls inspire an intense sense of spiritual devotion. It stands as a breathtaking symbol of the human desire to reach closer to the heavens. Our cinematic exploration climbs sharply into the high, rugged northwestern territories to enter Sighnaghi, a legendary land defined by deep insulation. Surrounded by some of the highest, ice-capped peaks in the Greater Caucasus, this remote alpine valley is famous for its unique medieval defensive structures, known as Svan towers. Constructed between the 9th and 13th centuries, these towering stone fortresses served as both private family homes and defensive redoubts against fierce avalanches and foreign invaders. The central hub of Mestia is a beautiful maze of unpaved mountain pathways where domestic farm animals wander beneath the shadows of these ancient monuments. As twilight descends over the valley, the stone towers are illuminated with warm, golden lights against the cold, blue mountain air. The ancient Svan language and distinct cultural traditions have survived entirely untouched here, protected by the giant walls of mountain stone. We travel even deeper into the high wilderness along a treacherous dirt road to reach Ushguli, officially recognized as one of the highest continuously inhabited villages in all of Europe.
Situated over 2,200 meters above sea level, this pristine alpine settlement rests directly at the foot of Mount Shkara, Georgia's highest snow-covered peak. Time has stood completely still within this isolated community. Over 200 ancient Svan towers stand gathered together along the rushing, icy waters of the Patara and Guri River, their dark stone walls weathered by centuries of brutal winter snows. During the long winter months, the village is completely cut off from the rest of the world, surviving on pure self-sufficiency and raw resilience. Walking through the narrow, muddy lanes among free-roaming mountain horses, you feel as though you have stepped into a forgotten medieval myth. It is the absolute edge of the civilized world. Our profound journey through the hidden sanctuaries of stone and earth comes to a quiet rest here at the snow-covered base of Mount Shkara. In this second chapter, we have descended into the deepest limestone chambers, stood before industrial relics, and climbed to the highest fortress towers in the clouds. Georgia has revealed itself not just as a geographic crossroads, but as a living sanctuary of human spirit and natural grandeur. Yet, our cinematic exploration of this majestic globe is far from over. There are still countless hidden valleys, silent deserts, and forgotten horizons waiting to be uncovered.
Thank you for wandering through these timeless peaks and historic outposts with us today. If this peaceful cinematic documentary brought a welcome moment of tranquility to your day, please leave a gentle like and subscribe to Peaceful Journeys to join our growing, quiet community. Your beautiful support helps wandering souls everywhere discover the world's most hidden and untouched wonders. Until our paths cross again on the next horizon of the globe, stay peaceful and take care.